the ultimate guide to visualization practice. So this guide is going to cover basically all the things you don't want to mess up and how to do a visualization practice. This is something that doesn't work for a lot of people because it's really important that you do it properly. When you do a proper visualization practice, what's going to happen is that you clarify your vision over time, and it allows you to feel into what actually resonates with what you truly want and get rid of what's coming from a fear-based perspective. A visualization practice isn't going to work for something that's not really what you want. That's someone else's goal, that's something that you're coming to from a fear-based place. Now, a proper visualization practice also is going to be done very precisely. You're going to imagine living out an exact scenario in detail. Over time, you're going to add detail and clarify it and make it more clear in your mind. So a visualization practice isn't doing some affirmations every day. A proper visualization practice also is going to connect emotionally. As you do it day after day, your emotional connection to that visualization practice is going to become more and more intense and more powerful. It is not going to be something you do logically, visually even, but it's primarily an emotional practice. So how do you do this? Just bare fundamentals. Step one is when you're doing a visualization practice, you're going to be using this. And before you even do it, you want to make sure that what you're visualizing is your own. So you can go through different exercises. One that you might hear from Alan Watts if you watch his videos is that you should imagine you have all the money in the world. Money was no object. Now, what are you going to go do with your time? Or you can imagine that you have a winning lottery ticket that whatever you do in order to make money will succeed. Whatever business you do or whatever service you offer will succeed. And another one, because money is just a big thing where people think, oh, really, I just want a bunch of money because then I can go get all the things that I want in life. A key thing is that you just visualize the thing you want without money. Make sure when you're thinking about something you want, you're not thinking about money. Money is not the means to the end in that visualization. It's not a part of the visualization. When you're trying to figure out what you actually want, you should not be considering if it's financially possible, and you should just be focusing on the thing that actually gets you excited. So maybe it's spending time out in places like Sequoia National Park, for example. You would go and visualize yourself in a day going through the park. So you wouldn't visualize the park. You wouldn't imagine just like there's trees here, there's trees there. You would imagine that you are going through the park, going on a hike. You are interactively visualizing what will actually occur. What will actually occur is not just the park. It's already there. What will actually occur and you want to occur in your life is you hiking through the park, looking around, feeling a certain type of way. And so that's a key to the visualization practice. We're going to jump into that. A key to visualization is that you feel a certain way. What you're doing essentially is imagining the thing that you are pretending certain emotions are on the other side of. You think that once you're in Sequoia National Park, or maybe you have $1 million or whatever it is, you're going to feel a certain way. You are chasing certain emotions. Maybe you are chasing security, freedom, love, joy, relaxation. Whatever it is that you are chasing, you think is on the other side of that thing. If you ever have gotten something you want before, you were probably pretty disappointed that it didn't actually do much. There might have been an initial emotional response, but you quickly adapted. So what you're doing with this visualization practice is getting those emotions. Part of what that's going to do is make you realize those emotions are already within you, and that's something that you're going to self-generate, not something that you're going to get on the other side of that thing. So you visualize the thing as if you already have it in exquisite detail, living through it as a day in your life from a first-person perspective, and you feel the emotions. This is the key. The only reason you're visualizing this, well, not the only reason, but a big reason is so that you can bring up the emotions. When you are able to feel those emotions within yourself, then you're probably going to attract that thing to you without coming from a place of fear, lack, desire, but more from a place of completion and pure intention. And that is absolutely key to a proper visualization practice. Now, you're visualizing things that you think you want. You're doing these exercises about like money, for example, to logically think about what it is that you actually want. as you go through this practice, you're going to try out different things. Some things are going to connect to you more. Some things are going to fill you with more energy. Ultimately, what you should have with a proper visualization practice is that you can sit there, visualize some things, and be filled with more energy than you can possibly channel, more motivation at your will whenever you want than you can possibly handle, that you can possibly imagine. It should resonate with you so deeply that you can't imagine not taking the steps right now to move towards that goal, whatever it is. And also, that won't be coming from a place of fear where you're like, I need this thing or I won't be happy. It will just be intense, positive motivation. Now, as you do this, you will just find, by doing different things every day, which things bring up those emotions more. You will connect with that and keep yourself open-minded to what things really bring up those emotions. One thing that you want to watch out for is thinking that you want to go save the world, help other people, when that's not truly what your heart wants. If you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for example, you're not really going to want to go do those things until you are complete within yourself. So let's say you're just not even happy. You don't have the lifestyle you want. You should probably focus on that first. You should probably do that in a way that's going to bring good stuff to others. That's going to make you feel good along the way. And then once your cup is full, eventually your motivation will naturally spill out into maybe just being more selfless. But if that's not truly what your heart wants because you're not happy, you're not going to be able to fill yourself with that much power. And so what are you doing? Are you just doing this to motivate yourself? It's kind of like that, but really what's happening when you visualize is that you're tapping into the reality creation process at a very deep level. And part of what this looks like is that you'll just be able to generate motivation for these things. But ultimately, this is the process through which you create a reality. And part of the way that manifests and externalizes in the material realm is that you get filled with motivation and you go take the right actions. That's a crucial part of it. But really what you're doing is just tapping into the reality creation process and getting into it at a very deep level. It is a very powerful practice. It is more than just motivation generation. And the thing is that the visualization process gets its power from visualizing the things that you really connect with in your heart. So if you're visualizing things you don't really want, you could spend 10 years waking up in the morning, visualizing a big bag of $10 million, a giant mansion, and just visualizing that, saying, this is mine, I already have it, oh, I feel it, I guess I kind of feel good. And it's not really going to do anything at all because you don't want that shit. You've been conditioned by society, by collective energetic thought patterns into thinking you want a bunch of shit that you don't want. You have to go out, live your life and explore, and do these internal exercises, externally and internally, figure out what you actually want. The more something is aligned with what you truly want, the more powerful visualization will be. So if you connected with this video, this is basically all of my ideas from reading many different books, because visualization is something that many people agree on is easy to do improperly. So all these things come together. This is a lot of the common pitfalls. Another exercise we'll just throw in there before I wrap this up. If you feel any sense of relief when you let go of a goal, when you say, you know what, maybe that's not for me. Maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I can just live my life without that thing. If you feel any sense of relief, it is not something you truly want, but something that you are convincing yourself you want out of a place of fear, scarcity, or social conditioning. So that's a great exercise, couple exercises, and just a general practice that will develop over time. If your visualization process isn't maturing, refining, becoming more intentional and clear, more emotionally connective and resonant, it is not being done properly. Anyways, a lot of these ideas come from the book Reality Transurfing. On my YouTube channel, below this video, have a full 18-part, 4-hour series covering this book. This is probably the most powerful, comprehensive book on the topic. I recommend you go read all 800 pages, but if you just want to start off watching, 30 minutes per 100 pages of book, but it really covers all the key concepts, basically like this video, but in much more depth. Go check that out. It's basically on this topic. Visualization is just the tool that we use, And if you like this video, if you want to make sure you're not making any of the mistakes I outlined and many more, and you want to do this properly, go check out that series. Peace.